And Amy O'Brien.
Hi.
Hi. Hi. Hi. Hi.
I don't want to be a product of my environment. I want my environment to be a product of me.
Prestige Living Podcast. So with that, who do you want to be?
Hello, welcome to Prestige Living, where we host your like-minded community peers who are making an impact in Orange County through owning their own business. I'm your host, Jay O'Brien, here with your co-hosts, Kane German.
I almost forgot my name. I saw that.
And Amy O'Brien.
Hi.
Today we have a very unique guest, and the very first guest in this realm of business ownership, a franchisee. She owns and operates the Pure Barre fitness studio in Rancho Santa Margarita and is making strides in her local community. Without further ado, I give you Kerry Vicencia.
Hi.
Kerry, welcome to the show.
Hola, Kerry.
Excited to be here.
So this is really good actually, because typically we fill the show up with all types of different business owners, and even had someone on here who does franchising. Mm-hmm. So to have someone who actually owns a franchise, similar to how we own a Remax, it's kind of cool. So we want to kind of get in the mind of Kerry and how you decided to do that. And I know that a franchise operation is a little bit more out of the box. You know, it's kind of different. So why don't you begin by telling us what you were doing prior to what you're doing right now?
Okay, so I used to be a high school counselor. I have a Bachelor of Arts in Psychology and a Master's in Educational Counseling. So I was working as a high school counselor at Santa Margarita Catholic High School. I had my son in November of 2012, and after that I just could not see myself going back to work full time and not having the ability to spend a lot of time with him. I had always been involved in dance and fitness my whole life. Amy remembers from high school.
Back in the dance dynamic days.
Dance dynamic.
Been dancing forever. And I was teaching at the Pure Barre in Anaheim Hills just on the side for fun, keeping up my own fitness. So I just started talking with my husband about the idea of opening my own Pure Barre, which seemed totally out of the realm of possibility, but we just started talking about it. The more and more I talked about it and talked to the owner of Pure Barre Anaheim Hills, I just realized that it was what I wanted to do, and I just went for it. So
what is Pure Barre? Like, what type of exercise is that?
It is, it's for everybody, but I would say it is geared towards women. Very low impact workout. There's no jumping, no running, and you're basically focusing on one muscle group at a time, working that muscle to fatigue or that shaking point, and then we stretch to try to create those long, lean muscles. So we utilize a ballet bar, but you don't have to have any type of dance experience or anything to take class, and it works. I mean, I did it all throughout my pregnancies, before, after, and it definitely made a huge difference for me. So.
Wow, that's awesome. And so you're over in Rancho Santa Margarita?
We are. Since I worked at the high school in Santa Margarita, I loved the area. There was no other bar studios around there. I thought it would be a great location. A lot of young moms, a lot of families in there. So I looked for a spot, and we found a great one and just went for it.
So when you open up a franchise like in the fitness world like this, what does it look like? What kind of support are you given? Are you provided with certain tools because it's kind of like an out-of-the-box solution where they say like everyone's got to be the same, or do you have some level of autonomy where you can kind of play on your own terms, or how does that work?
I would definitely say a little bit of both. I definitely went between opening my own type of studio that I could just create from scratch or starting out with a franchise. And it was definitely the best decision I made to go with the franchise route, just because obviously my background's in education. I have no idea what I was doing from a business standpoint. I had a ton to learn. So having Pure Barre as a support for me, having a bunch of other owners that could support me and answer questions that I had along the way has been huge for me. There's local owners that I talk to regularly. We have a franchise page that all of the owners can talk to each other and bounce ideas off each other. What are you guys doing this month? Especially when it came to opening, Pure Barre corporate and other owners were huge in helping me get everything set up and get it going. I really don't think I would have been able to do it on my own.
So if you have to follow like the Pure Barre way, are there any creative liberties in building your own Pure Barre, and how to separate that from all the other Pure Barres?
There definitely are. They definitely give us a kind of level of their standards, I guess, of what they want us to follow. If you do go into a Pure Barre, you will see they all do look very, very similar. We do have standards that we follow as far as our build out goes, and that is more so for when clients go to different studios. We have a lot of clients that travel and want to go to another Pure Barre when they're out of town. They want you to get that same feel and that same vibe when you walk into another Pure Barre. So the main thing is they want that welcoming experience for everybody. They want it to be fun. They want to build a community, and that's what you'll see in every single Pure Barre. Now, if you go into different ones, you'll get a different vibe depending on the owner, and we are allowed liberties, what we're selling in the studio, what the front part of the studio looks like. We can kind of work with what we see as our vision for our studio, but we do have the kind of standards that we follow.
And you have to follow their marketing practices too?
We actually can do a lot with what we want to do for marketing. They give us a ton of marketing tools online, and we do national marketing, and we'll try to do national challenges that incorporate all the Pure Barres, but we're definitely able to do what we would like to do at the local level. So I just did a big mailer to the local area. That's not really something that they push us to do, but you can definitely work with what's going to be best in your community.
Nice.
So when you opened your location in Rancho Santa Margarita, what was important to you to give it that Kerry feel, and what was kind of important to you to make sure your clients chose your studio versus going to another location?
The biggest thing for me was making every single person that walked in our door feel welcome. I know a lot of time, especially with women, they can be intimidated about where they're working out. They feel that other women are looking at them or judging them during class, or maybe they're a little overweight, so they're embarrassed, or they think they're not going to be able to keep up with class. That's something I wanted to figure out right away. So as soon as people walked in the door, they felt welcome. They felt like they were a part of our community. They felt like they'd be able to participate in the class. And that's something we do a really good job, at least I think. I have awesome desk girls that are always greeting clients when they come in. My instructors, we always greet every single new client when they get into class. We go over what we're going to be doing in class, offer modifications, just make them feel welcome. And even if they are really struggling, encourage them to come back the next time and be happy when they leave the studio and have a sense of, they had a great workout. They felt that it was something that will help change their life, change their body, and something that they want to come back to.
Perfect. So really creating that full experience for them.
Yeah, it's definitely a community. I mean, if you talk to some of the clients that I have, everyone gets to know each other. They're asking, oh, you were in that class yesterday, where were you? They all kind of have that schedule. There's the same clients coming to the same times, and they're making friendships in the studio and bringing them outside of the studio. So, I mean, that's something that I'm really proud of. I love when the clients don't know each other and we introduce them and say, oh, she has a son that's the same age as yours, and they kind of connect that way, and just building those connections. I think that is a huge part of what makes us successful and what brings people back and why they want to bring their friends to come in and try class.
Absolutely. We've seen that with so many different businesses. It's really the culture is what drives people to come back. And like you said, if people feel comfortable and welcomed, and especially when it is the unknown. So for people who are listening who are not familiar with Pure Barre, what does a typical workout look like? What can they expect?
So it's a full body workout. We start out at the beginning of class with a full body warm up. We use very light hand weights. So we have the offer, you can take 2, 3, or 5 pound hand weights. So a lot of times people come in, they're like, oh, I work at the gym and I use 20 pound weights. I'm like, just grab the 3s or the 5s, because you'll feel a different, very small movements, isometric movements. So you're not ever doing anything too big. After the full body warm up, we work at the bar. We do thigh work. You'll do 3 thigh exercises. Then we stretch. We move on to what we call the seat. You call it the butt, but we call it the seat in class. We do 2 exercises per side. We stretch, and we finish out class with ab work. So we have some different ab work that's kind of underneath the bar that some people are usually not familiar with. And then we kind of have a little more of the ab work in the center of the room that most people, you might see them doing at the gym. But again, really small movements. And we finish out class with a nice stretch, incorporating a little bit of those yoga poses at the end. And a main part of our class and our focus is to leave everything else outside of the door for that 1 hour that you're in class and just focus on yourself and the movements and what you're doing. So that's why I always encourage moms, especially new moms, you're crazy, you're never taking time for yourself, to leave everything else outside the door, not think about your stresses and your worries and what you have to do when you get home, but just focus on yourself. So it's definitely a workout for your body, but it's also a great workout for your mind.
Absolutely.
And kind of clearing your head.
So on the parent corporate level, when you're opening up a franchise, do they give you standard projections, like this is what you can roughly estimate how long it'll take to turn a profit, and here's how many employees you should hire, here's like a rough labor dollar amount that you should be spending? Like, did they kind of give you that out of the box business model?
We do have, we're not told how many employees you need to have. It also would be based on how much you're planning on working yourself, which in the beginning I taught a ton of classes and didn't really want to give it to everybody else. I wanted to do everything. So at this point, I do have, 6 or 7 instructors. I have 3 or 4 desk girls that help out with the front desk, especially my daughter is only 7 weeks old, so I've been home a lot more with her. So luckily I've had that support. But as far as like pay range and that kind of thing, that's obviously going to vary state to state, how much instructors are making and that kind of thing. So they don't really have much of they don't tell us what to do with that, but they do give us projections and what other studios are making based on the first 6 months of being open, the first year of being open, 2 years, and the mature studios that have been open maybe 3 years or more, and kind of where they're at. So you definitely have something to base it off of and compare yourself and see where you kind of fall.
What's roughly the break-even point? Is that pretty much the same across the board? Like 6 months you can expect to break even, or 2 years, or something like that?
I would say roughly about a year.
1 year.
You're starting to break even.
That accounts for
if you're
the
lucky,
capital,
it could be
build
more.
out.
Yeah, definitely. Build out is a huge cost, the biggest cost I had when it came to opening. So a lot of studios, I think, that are in bigger cities, if you're in the huge markets like LA, New York, Pure Barre is huge in like Texas. There's some big areas there. I think some of those studios are making it back a little bit quicker. I'm in definitely more of a suburb community, lots of young families and that kind of thing. So it's definitely taken me a little bit longer to kind of get that money back. And
are there like standard operating hours? Like, could you be closed on a Wednesday just because you want to be, or is like Pure Barre corporate like, nope, you are open 9 to 6 on these days?
They don't designate hours, but you are required to be open 7 days a week.
Okay.
On the weekends, you're required to have, I think, a total of 4 classes at least. I would say most have more than just 4 on the weekends. And then during the week, it definitely depends on how busy your studio is. I mean, there's some studios that have 9-10 classes a day. I have about 6 or 7 classes a day right now during the week.
So when it comes to like merchandise sales and stuff like that, you guys can sell things or whatever. What if you started your own brand of clothing? Could you sell that in there?
No.
You'd be restricted from doing that.
We would be restricted from doing that. I think, I do think it used to be a little bit more strict. We do have a list of brands that we are allowed to sell in the studio.
Got it.
Now, I will say a lot of the Pure Barres, including myself, we do also look for local businesses that we like to support and sell their products as well. I have reached out to, I don't know if you've heard of Mother Trucker. They do those hats. We just bought some really cool trucker hats that I got them with our Pure Barre SM on the front, so we can kind of sell ourselves at the same time. So I do try to also support some other local businesses and bring their products in as well that I think my clients would like. But other than that, I do kind of follow as far as retail sales and what other studios are doing well with what they're selling. I'll follow that as well for retail apparel.
Does that go through like an approval process, like the hats, like where Pure Barre has to say, yes, you can sell those hats with our logo on it? Or is it like, if you want to sell them, you can sell them? Or are they unable to hear this right now? Did I just get you in trouble?
No, I think they're aware that there are most studios do sell other products that aren't on the vendor list.
What about like, you have like drinks and stuff like that, like water and...
I just have water.
But you can sell like chips? Like what happens if you just sell chips? Like are they like, dude, you can't resell...
Protein-infused cocktails?
Yeah.
It's their recovery.
I don't know that it would be a smart choice as for a fitness studio owner to sell chips.
Planet Fitness has pizza and donuts.
Yeah, we do have a donut place around the corner that just opened, which is not good. But I have looked in. I know there are a few studios that do sell like health bars, that kind of thing. And we just Pure Barre corporate just created a connection with the Suja fruit drinks and juices, and studios can sell those. And I'm looking into selling some healthy snack bars or protein bars that clients can have after class.
So you can kind of do that at your will.
Yeah.
More or less.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I've been firing off quite a few questions, guys. You want to chime in here?
Going back to the culture and how important it is, especially kind of set yourself apart from all the other franchises. Do you have like a specific hiring process, something you look for in every employee?
I look for, depending on what they're doing. There's definitely a difference between instructors and front desk. Front desk, I love to hire people that love Pure Barre, obviously. They know what it is, they take class. Obviously that's important so they can sell it. Why do people want to take Pure Barre? Why do they love it so much? If they don't know anything about it, they're not going to be able to sell class packages. I look for just extremely friendly, outgoing people. I want people that are going to be smiling as soon as someone walks in the door, greeting everybody. But I also want people that have a background in sales. That's it. If any, I want a great community. I want happy clients, but we also need to be selling class packages on a regular basis. So people that have that background and that are comfortable, checking in with clients every time they take class, if they're going to need a new package, nicely pushing whatever current packages we have on sale, that kind of thing. Any type of sales background is awesome. As far as instructors, background in dance, fitness, cheerleading, anything that kind of relates to Pure Barre. I do look for people that have been taking Pure Barre for a while and that know the technique and are obviously good at it. People that are committed. It's a lot of money out of my pocket to send people to training. I do cover training completely. It's in Denver, so they're flying out there for it. So it's a big expense and a big investment for me to hire a new instructor. So we do have them sign contracts.
So they do have to get like a certification process.
Yes, yeah. They go through a training at our Pure Barre corporate, and they come home and train with us for a good amount of time afterwards before they're able to get on the floor and they're ready to go.
So when it comes to opening up a franchise, like something that's already existing like this, and there's a good skeleton model to follow, right? What are some pros and cons that you see there? Like, is this something that you would recommend to someone listening to the show? Like, yes, I would absolutely go the franchise route, or no, it would be better maybe to start your own gym and just do similar things and kind of have your own liberties with it. Like, can you elaborate on some of the pros and cons that you've experienced?
For me, again, I'll say the franchise route was my best option just because my background is not in business. So if you don't have that background, having a corporate or a company behind you that can kind of guide you along the way, and there's times when I've been struggling and getting people in, and I have somebody that I can reach out to and ask, what should I do, or what recommendations do you have, or reach out to other owners that I know are successful and ask what they've done in the past. That's huge. That's, I think, the biggest plus of owning a franchise and not just going and starting something on my own.
Communal support.
What
Yes.
would you say was probably one of your biggest challenges when getting started?
For me, it was, I guess, balancing my time. First and foremost, I'm a mom, and at the time I only had my son, and trying to find that balance of being a businesswoman and not always taking my business home. My family will constantly tell you I'm on my phone all the time. Mm-hmm. And every time I'm emailing people back. I'm not just texting a friend or on Facebook. I'm responding to clients. I'm, talking to my employees, and they need something when they're at work and I'm not there. So finding that balance between being a mom and being a business owner and trying to kind of separate the two and not taking them both, trying to do them both at the same time, I guess, was my biggest challenge, and definitely now that I have two. So
I think we can all relate to that.
Yeah. Do you see yourself unplugging from your level of involvement, where maybe you're taking more of a role where you're overseeing things and you have someone managing on your behalf?
I have definitely done that in the last few months.
Okay.
Like I said, my daughter's 7 weeks, and I have greatly relied on a few employees, but I do have one desk girl who's kind of been running it for me, and we just text all day long and email back and forth on what needs to be going on, if they need me to bring anything into the studio, any marketing things that she's been working on and wants to pursue and wants to check in with me. So I've definitely had that help right now, and I think I'll rely on that for a little bit longer, just since she is so young. But I do intend on getting back in. I'm actually going to start teaching classes again this weekend. I haven't been teaching since a little bit before I had her, so I'll be back teaching. I was teaching, 6 classes a week before. I think I'm going to cut back for now and maybe just teach 2 or 3 a week, and then try to put more time and effort into kind of the behind the scenes stuff and just work a lot more on marketing and just building up the studio.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you anticipate any type of expansion or growth, like maybe opening up a 2nd, 3rd, 4th Pure Barre?
There are owners that own. There's another Orange County owner that owns 4 studios, and I constantly think, how on earth does she do it? There's a few that even own more than that, and at this point in my life, there's no way. I mean, I feel totally overwhelmed with one location and having 2 kids. I think if I did this before I had kids, I probably would have pushed for another location, and I would have been able to. But I think now, with them being so young, the one studio is perfect for me. I can handle it. I can handle the workload. I have the help for that. I can't say that later in life, maybe when they're a little bit older and in school, that I wouldn't want to push forward and add another location or pursue another adventure like that. But for now, I think I'm good.
Is it safe to say, or is it reasonable to assume that the income stream is predictable at this point?
It's not.
Okay.
It's not, which I guess could be, I think every business owner has that struggle. Summertime is very slow, and it was last summer and this summer for us, especially in the community that I'm in. Kids are out of school, the moms don't have childcare for them, they're traveling, so a lot of our clients are on like monthly unlimited packages. Well, they don't want to buy a monthly unlimited package if they're going to be gone for 2 weeks because they're going to Hawaii or whatnot. So summertime was very slow. I mean, it can definitely cause you to worry, but that's when September we really put a lot into our marketing. We have a whole back to the bar challenge, just like the kids are back in school, so we want the moms to come back to the bar, and we have like a class challenge, so you're trying to motivate people to take a certain number of classes that month, and they get different prizes, and just try to keep them motivated and keep them coming. So this part until Christmas time, I think is pretty busy, slows down a little bit, and then of course January you have all the people coming in with their New Year resolutions, and they want to get in shape, so that's a good push.
And that back to the bar is just your location?
No, it's actually a national push, national challenge, and there are, this is something that you had the option of joining in and doing. You don't have to do a specific challenge this month, but on a national level, Pure Barre was pushing, just coming back to the bar for September once your kids go back in school. There is a national prize if you complete 10, 20, or 30 classes this month. There was different level of prizes, and then as a studio, you had the option of maybe offering your own special incentives to get people to take a certain amount of classes, so we have that as well.
That's really cool. Yeah.
So what's the elevator pitch for someone who has never been there before and is like, oh, well, I have my gym. I go to CrossFit or I go to spin. So therefore it's like Pure Barre is the same thing to me. Like what's the reason for trying it?
It is very different than both workouts that you mentioned. I would actually say we have a spin studio in our center, and it's a great combo workout to do with spin. It is not heavy cardio, so I do have a lot of clients that are doing spin or running one day and then coming and doing Pure Barre. It's basically what's what I'm looking for?
I don't know. Let me get the dictionary.
A great addition to whatever workout you're doing, because it's going to be working different muscles than you're used to. We actually had a CrossFit group come in and take class, and I would say it was half guys, half girls. And they came in, I think, a little bit cocky and, okay, this is a girly workout. This is going to be so easy, and they were dying by the end.
Oh, really?
And they are in great shape, but it's just such a different workout, and they're working different muscles than they were used to, and doing really small movements and not throwing big old weights over their head. It's just different. It's going to work something that you haven't worked before. It's just I can't think of
what's the girl to guy ratio in a class?
We have all women.
You have
right
all women?
Now, yeah. I would
there
say,
you go, Jay. That's a reason to try it
I'm
right
just
there.
thinking, like, for the guys listening to this
I
that
don't
live in
know
Rancho
why.
Santa Margarita.
We've had men come in. I don't have regular men clients that come in, on a daily basis.
They're missing the boat.
They are.
They're going to the wrong bar.
They are. I have seen studios that have men that come in regularly. We do have something called like 100 Club, 250 Club. So when a client reaches 100 classes, we have them sign the bar that we have in the front of the studio, and we kind of make it a big thing. We give them a little cute tank top that says, 100 Club, Pure Barre, and they have special socks that they can wear in class. So we try to make it a big thing when they reach those milestones. And I've seen, yes, we wear
socks.
You had socks. Yeah, had K-Knit socks.
We wear, you have to wear socks in class. We call them sticky socks so you don't slide on the carpet.
Is that a national thing too, the contest, the 100 and 250 thing?
It's not required, but I'm almost positive that 100% of the studios do it. It's a huge motivational thing. I mean, clients do come in, they're like, I want to be a part of that. I want to sign the bar. We actually have 100 Club, 250 Club, and we're almost going to have a client that's going to reach 500. So, there's studios that have been open a lot longer, and I've seen clients reach 1,000. So, we obviously want to keep motivating them to come back, and it motivates other clients. They see that and they want to do it. But I have seen men signing those bars. So there's obviously men going to other studios that are committed and that enjoy it and see a change. When I used to teach at Anaheim Hills, there was an older man that used to come in and take class, and he had like heart surgery and all these different things, so he couldn't do what he used to do physically. He couldn't run, he couldn't do those workouts that were like heavier on his joints. And so he came in and took Pure Barre, and it took him a while to figure out what he was supposed to be doing and kind of get those moves, but he loved it, and he was able to get a good workout and not put all that strain on his muscles and his joints that he had previously injured. So
wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
So what's a good way to plug your Pure Barre business? Is it Facebook? Is it Instagram? Website? What's the best way to get the word out to people?
I think that Facebook is huge. We've definitely done a lot of Facebook marketing. I try to, I update our social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter once or twice a day with something, even if it's just a motivational quote, trying to get people to come in, current packages that we have on sale, pictures of a class if we have a lot of people in class, and, take a picture of what they're doing. But I definitely post at least once a day on all of our social media. That's been really big. We just recently, like I said, I think this week I sent out a big mailer, which I'm sure you guys do all the time, because we always get the homes for sale in our area. What's the one I always get at home? I can't remember. But I just tried the mailer for the first time. A big old annoying 8.5 by 11.
Yep.
Pure Barre in Santa
Can't miss
Margarita. And I offered 3 free classes, which is big. I don't usually, we don't usually offer that many free classes, and kind of sent it out to all the local areas. So I'm pretty eager to see
what the results
are from that. But a lot of our marketing is just online. It's just that social media. The website, the Pure Barre website that you go to, that's our website. So if you go to Pure Barre, you just look up the specific location based on where you are, and you can go from there. It's, it has my info and that kind of thing, but it's not as personal as our Facebook page and our Instagram that we can kind of do ourselves.
How do you find your location on Facebook and on Instagram?
It's Pure Barre SM. So if you just do facebook.com/Pure Barre SM, same for Instagram, same for Twitter, you can find us on there. All of our info's on there, and we, like I said, we post all the time. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. You guys have anything else?
Yeah, actually. So this
So
cross.
did I.
Go ahead.
About the socks,
No,
right?
it's okay.
No. I was actually
socks.
thinking,
The
it's
socks.
okay, so there's so many locations, and I know CrossFit gyms have inter-gym competitions. Do you guys have anything like that? Who can be more Barre? Is that the right word? Barre?
I don't think that's the word.
Who can be more Barre?
Who can be more stretchy?
We don't usually. The only time we did one once this year, and it was awesome. So I'm almost positive they'll do it again. We did compete against every studio who wanted to. So basically, you could opt in to do it, and I would say maybe 80-90% did it, and it was basically another challenge. You try to get as many people as you could to sign up, and you wanted them to take as many classes as they could during that month, and then the percentage of classes they took based on how many people signed up, whatever. So basically we competed against all the other studios, and every day it was updated with the places of what studios where you were at. And we are a pretty small location, and we've only been open about a year and a half, and though most of the time we were in 3rd or 4th place, which was awesome. I think we finished 5th or 6th, but Pure Barre has almost 200 studios now, so my clients were super excited that our small little studio could compete in that, but it was fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, everyone was
You guys had
checking every
perfect
day and
attendance.
posting it. Yeah, they were committed. People made sure, and then other clients were like, "You weren't here yesterday. No, you have to come tomorrow." So hopefully we do that again, because I think we had the best attendance we ever had that month when we did that. And it was a fun competition. You know, all the studios were kind of looking and seeing where we were, and people would post that day, and you know, people would move a few places, and we'd be commenting on it. So it was fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I've known Kerry for a long time, and so this is obviously really cool for me to hear your story, and I think it's going to be really interesting for all our listeners to hear about your success story. And I know you've got a lot on your plate. This was a big decision for you. So what was the best part, or what was there a specific moment that you had or an experience that made you think, I'm so glad I did this, and this was the best decision I made?
I think there's a few different times I've thought that. One was opening day, just because I worked so hard for, it was from the time that I was approved to open my location to the day that I opened was probably roughly 6 months. And it was a whirlwind. I mean, I had so much to do every single day. I had my son to take care of. I cried and screamed, and my husband hated me at the time, and it was probably one of the most stressful times of my life. So to see it just be open and have people coming in and taking class and enjoying it, and just seeing how it turned out, it was like emotional for me. I couldn't believe that I did all of that and then got to that point. Other than that, I think that I have the ability to spend that time with my children and also work and kind of have the best of both worlds, because I think if I was just at home with my kids, I kind of need like another outlet. I need something else for myself personally, or I would just go a little bit crazy. I can't just be home and not have another outlet for me to be creative and put my other time and effort into, I guess. So having the ability to do both is amazing. I mean, that's all I could ask for. And other than that, I mean, when I get emails from clients or posts about how much they love class or how much they love our location and how much they're enjoying it, or we usually do a client spotlight once a month and kind of just talk about a client who's coming regularly and what Pure Barre has done for them, what differences they've seen in their body. And the last one we did, from when she started, she's lost like 45 pounds, and you know, she feels great. And she was talking about the first time she came, she could barely do anything in class, and now she feels really strong, and she's not embarrassed to come to class anymore, and she feels great. I mean, getting those stories from clients are huge and make
so
me
rewarding.
feel like, yeah, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Even with all, you know, sometimes it can be so stressful that it's like, why did I do this? And then something like that happens, and I'm like, okay, that's why I did it. So
that's awesome. Just goes to show sometimes taking that risk,
yes,
is definitely worth it. It's just getting the courage to make the leap. So
yeah, this has been really good too, because like I said before, we have not had a guest yet who's just has opened a franchise and gone through that type of business model execution, and always been curious as to how it works on a different end, because obviously with Remax it's entirely different. You look at our numbers versus other Remax, there's really no rhyme or reason to any of it other than the brand name and the logo. You know, there's like everyone's completely doing things their own way. So it's interesting to see a little bit more structure in that regard.
Yeah, the structure is definitely a good thing. I think if you talk to any Pure Barre owner, they would say having the support and the backing of corporate and other owners. I mean, yes, I have corporate and I can turn to them, but I think most of the time I just turn to the other owners that I know and that I'm close with, or even just on our page, and reach out to them and take their advice. And I mean, that's huge for me. So
awesome. Okay, so that's Facebook, Pure Barre SM. That's Pure BARRE SM. Same with Twitter and Instagram.
Yep.
Awesome. Again, that's Kerry Vicencia. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks,
we really appreciate it.
Thanks, Kerry.
Thanks, Kerry.
Thank you.
Exit music and
If you would like to be on the Prestige Living Podcast or know someone that would be a great guest, go to www.prestigelivingpodcast.com. We'd love to hear your story.